Hello, my name's Tony Berard. This is part 2 of the rules of tines and barbs. Remember I had this chart before. Please get my book, The Flaws, Death, and Successor to Chess, Tines and Barbs by Tony Berard. There's my e-store, https://www.createspace.com/3552-422. There's my ISBN 13 number, and I have 2 discount codes, $10 off and $20 off. And you can only use them in the e-store. If you're not in the e-store, it won't work in just regular Amazon.com. The $10 off is V98BLGBS, that's an S, and $20 off is SQCLP9SB. So all 3 of those are S's. All right. Here I have the board set up. Let's see if I can get the whole shot here. So I've got over here is the 16 shields in the pouch. I guess you can see the outline a little better now with these for the contrast for the camera. Each of the thorns have a 1 shield pouch, and each of White's thorns have a 1 shield pouch to start with. And I have the 2 weapons, the pouch and the wand for the Grand Barb, and the pouch and the wand for the Grand Barb over here. The lances start out in the 3rd spot, and they have a gun pointing away from the opponent. And here it's pointing away from the opponent. And over here, there's a gun back behind this lance, and a gun back behind this lance, pointing away from the opponent. The color band order, well, for black, observe that it goes a blue band, and then 3 orange bands, then 3 blue bands, and then an orange band. And the reason for that is because I wanted to give maximum maneuverability for the original attack. So each of these thorns, like the orange ones here, can go to here and to here. So they can venture over into this area if they need to. And then by rotating clockwise, 1 increment, they can venture back this way for just the cost of 1 point. It doesn't work with this guy though, because if he's rotating clockwise, he'll rotate this way, and it'll take a few points for him to swing all the way back around to be able to pointing back this way. So that's why he is pointing forward and to here, and rotating blue means he rotates counterclockwise, which is this way, so he can give assistance to this thorn with 1 point. Same thing here. On this side, these blue ones here, they can move this way and this way right now, but for 1 point, rotating counterclockwise, they can rotate this way to face back if they need to lend support the other way. But this guy, because he's rotating clockwise, he'll rotate this way, so he can lend support to this guy. All right, and similarly, it's the reverse image here. I guess I need to swing myself around this way. The orange bands over on the Grand Barb side, they rotate clockwise. I don't know if I told you clockwise orange, clockwork orange, like the novel. That's how I remember it. And so these rotate clockwise. No, that's counterclockwise. Just confused myself there. Yeah, clocks don't run that way. They run this way. And so they can go here and to here, and for 1 point, rotate clockwise so they can swing back the other way if needed. And the blue means that he can rotate counterclockwise to lend support to that pawn. These can go here and here right now, but for 1 point, rotate counterclockwise, because they're blue, to go back this way. And this one can go here or here, and rotating clockwise can lend support to that pawn, or thorn. And I changed the names of the pieces. So again, this is the common, the strange, the lance, the mighty, the Grand Barb, the lance, the strange, and the common. And this is the 16 shield pouch. I have it preloaded with the nails. You can just, took me a couple minutes to load it in there. All right, when thrusting, remember the turn scale? I've got it right here. Thrust was a 5-point turn. And so, like if you wanted to thrust this up for 5 points, you can do that, except on white's first turn. Because white only gets a 3-point first turn. And so, because this has a 1 shield pouch, you just remove it and you can set it like there. And now for 1 point, this thorn has now shielded this square. And each of the thorns has a 1 shield pouch. And so that allows shields to get dispersed about the board rather quickly if they're needed. And let's say that a couple of turns goes by, and then he rotates, comes over here and rotates a little bit. So this would be like a fianchetto of the lance, and the gun is pointing down this main diagonal. And so if this thorn moves, then it makes this common, threatened. And because this is a gun, it can fire shots at these pieces. So it'd be kind of futile to rotate this to aim back at the lance, because the lance will fire a shot first. Well, you have to rotate too to use the strange to protect the common, because if he just captures, then there's no way to recapture. But this isn't a knight here, this is a strange, and so for 1 point of rotation we can protect this common at least from recapture, but that still won't prevent the lance from firing shots down here. So we can, what I might do in that situation probably is just do this, and get the pieces out another way, maybe this, and get the lance out, through this diagonal or something. And then the lance will probably cripple this thorn here for 2 points, and then you just leave it there, because then the lance will have to either make the choice of killing for 5 points, and then the question is posed, is the gun, the enhancement on the lance, worth more than the lowest piece, the thorn? And so that would leave white with 2 guns, and black has 1 less thorn. So the advantage for, or black has 1 more thorn. And so it's early on in the game if this happens. Towards the end of the game, it might be more advantageous to have the extra thorn. So, don't do that trade, late in the game. It's probably not worth it. But early in the game, where maneuverability and occupying space and considerations like that, you probably would let it go. Let the thorn go at the cost of the gun. You can gain tempi on your opponent by firing shots, because he'll have to heal, because heal costs 2 points, and firing a shot, wounding, is only 1 point. And if you can do that in the course of just your normal moves, then you want to gain tempi on your opponent. Okay, so that's a couple of ideas in the opening, and so I will set this back up to the original thing. One thing I wanted to say earlier was, suppose he does this, putting pressure down this line, because thorns don't have to have line clearance techniques in this game. They can just move right out of the way on their own power. And so this common now is threatening this thorn here. And so this common is needed to defend it. But one nice thing about this game is if you do the 1 shield pouch, you can drop this and then move out of the way. And then this shield prevents this common from coming no closer than this. And so if he does move it down to here to break this, then he can get recaptured with this guy. So this is kind of like a common defending the shield, and the shield is defending the common. So that's an interesting maneuver that's possible in Tines and Barbs that just simply doesn't exist in chess. So I'm just showing a couple things here from the original position. That's another setup I like to do is, white only gets 3 points on the first turn. So I do that, and then black does whatever. And then I usually go something like this. I'll move this and maybe drop the thorn, probably rotate the lance. That'll be my 5th point. And then he'll do whatever. And then I'll do this and rotate the lance maybe like that. And then black will do whatever. And then I'll come up here like this. And then this 6-piece fortress for my grand barb, that's a pretty tough nut to crack. He's going to have to advance thorns, possibly exposing his own grand barb, to get at this. Of course, if black does the same setup, then you've got 2 defensive postures, and that's like both of the players curling up under a rock. But, this is a nice thing that I like to do. And everybody here's got their shields, except this guy, he set it, and you might drop 1 or 2, plus the grand barb's got, the 16. So there's plenty of shields here to help the defense. And of course you got all your pieces. And if you need to bring in more, forces, this guy can come over, and these guys can come over, And then you can still have access to some of the lines on the outside, and, So that's one of the setups I like to do, is that 6-piece setup. And you can do it in a couple of places. It doesn't have to be right in front of the grand barb. I'm looking through the camera and trying to set these up, and it's not quite the same as using your own eyes. Alright. So, and I rotated these lances. Remember, I have the guns pointing away. I got that from martial arts. The thorns, or the stranges originally, are oriented vertically and pointing towards the opponent. Not like this, like I had it. That's not how they originally orient. They originally orient this way. So, yes, I have them all correct. No, this guy's not right. Now he is. Alright, so he's right, and he's right. This guy's right. And that guy's right. Alright, so another one that can be done is if you move this one up forward, and then you can bring this one over and this one over. And so you can set up the 6-piece fortress here in front of the mighty. And that's another option that I do from time to time. I use my eyes so I can do this quicker. And the other 6-piece obviously would be here. If you move this guy up, and then here, and then here, and then move it to there. So this game does not have a castling move. You don't clear out these 2 guys and then move the king over to the grand barb and then swing the common to here. That's not what happens. This game doesn't have a castling move, and it doesn't need it. Because in chess, there's 2 problems that arise. When you move your center pawns forward, that exposes the king. And then the rooks get stuck behind that little wall of pawns, and you can't get the rooks in play. So the castling move solves 2 things. It tucks the king away, and it brings the rook into play on the open files. So that does it solves 2 problems in chess. And it's because the pawns have these limitations as to why a castling move is needed. But in this game, the thorns can move under their own power. They can move anywhere they want. They can rotate and move. It's not a static game. And so you can have a formation like this where the pawns don't need to capture to get into this position. You can just move them there. And so these positions are possible to be set up under the player's own power. And so a castling move simply isn't needed because you could move, you could thrust these center ones, but then you could bring the other ones over, to give the king support. Plus he also has this, this incredible shield of, pouch of shields, and this can save the day a lot of times. Sometimes the king, you'll drop 2 shields and move. Drop 2 shields and move. And so for the cost of 6, 8 shields, you can get yourself out of danger. So that's why castling does not exist in this board game. All right, the other issue was promotion. I wasn't clear on the rules myself last time, but in order to promote, you have to get your thorn to the 8th rank, and it has to be healthy. You can't have a wounded thorn promote, and also it can't be on an opposing shield. So you have to have the square at least neutralized, which requires the Grand Barbs wand, and to touch the wand, it's a 1-point operation to neutralize, and it keeps the shield there, but it's like it's not there for that turn, the opposing shield. And so then you can promote on the neutralized shield. You could also promote if you break the shield first, because then the shield's not there. But you might have to break 2 or 3, because observe that each square can have up to 4 shields. You get 16 to start with from the Grand Barb, and each of the thorns can, lend their shields. So like these 3 guys, these 3 thorns are all pointing here. You could put I call it a mag dash whatever. So like you could get a mag 3 shield here right off the bat from these 3 thorns. It would cost 3 points. Then you'd have a mag 3 shield sitting here. And then black has to work to break that down if black needs to get past it. Okay, so let's say we do this. White can't play pawn to king 4 because white only gets 3 points on the first turn. But then let's say black does this. That would be a thrust, which is 5 points, and that's okay. And so now white can do this. So it's putting the question to this thorn. It's protected by the mighty. So, black could certainly do something like this if he wanted, and then drop a shield, whatever. But let's say he does this. Well, he can't thrust it to here because it's not defended. Let's see. Let's suppose he does this. All right, and then let's say we do this. Threatening to get the lances out. And now, I still can't do it. I left this guy in the wrong. Maybe I did that, I don't know. I don't remember if I rotated him or not. I guess I rotated him. All right, so then, well, okay, I can do this. So let's say we do this, and then we drop a shield. And that's all he does for that. So now, there's 2 attacks on this thorn. And this thorn is not attacking here because the shield is here now. And so, the question's not really put to here yet because, there's 3 attacks and only 2 defenses, here and here. And so, the question is now actually put to this thorn. And so, one thing that can be done is for 1 point, he might shield himself. And then for a second point, he might break the shield and then do something else. Let's say this. There. That's a 5-point turn. So the tension shifts in this game quite easily. So now this thorn is no longer under attack because it's going to require 1 point to break this thorn. So originally there were 3 attacks on it. Now there's none, at least while this shield is in existence. And so and now this thorn is attacking this thorn, and it's not defended. And it doesn't have another 1 shield pouch to defend itself. This guy could move up 1 and drop a shield here, reinstituting a shield, and other things could happen. He could move this one up and rotate the common to give it defense along the diagonal. There's a lot of options in this game. I just want to make you aware that, the depth of this game is just so incredible because of the fluidity of the thorns, the ability to set the 1 shield pouches. It sets up tension, in the game. The game is balanced from the outset because white only gets the 3-point initial move, and black gets 5 points, and white gets 5 points forevermore after that. But that initial 3-point turn, balances the game. So I hope with these little pre-games I've done, it shows the power of the game. I guess one thing I didn't do was I wanted to show a turn like this. Suppose white took the trouble to get his lance like this. He's in a position to now do something like this. Move, rotate, and then fire a shot. So you get one out of the bin and put it there. So now there's a wound in this thorn, so now it can't go here, but it can still go here. And so that's a 5-point turn. And just for laughs, that would kind of be foolish because this guy can rotate. Remember, it rotates clockwise. And now he's got an arm pointing on the lance. And then I can show disarm. Disarm here is 3 points. And so this lance's gun can be taken by this thorn, and you eject the gun from the game. The thorn doesn't have the ability to hold the gun. So when a weapon is disarmed, it just goes back into the nail box. The pouch and the wand can be disarmed, and each of the lance's guns can be disarmed. And each of the 1 shield pouches that the thorns have can be disarmed. Yes, they only can set for 1 point, but you might want to disarm it. It might be advantageous at some point to disarm a thorn's 1 shield pouch. So there's quite a bit of disarming that can be done. So that pretty much covers it. I'd like to say too that you might have a turn where you have 2 thorns on the 8th rank, and then you can promote 2 thorns because you might, it might take some trouble to break the shields, or you might have a lance there that's firing shots, and so you might have to get the other guy down there. Maybe they're protecting each other. It might get really weird because this game is capable of so many things. Like in an end game, you might have the thorn run along the diagonal to make it to the promotion square. You might have it where he's up here and being chased by the other Grand Barb, and you might have to run back to get help from his Grand Barb. So the thorn is running away. That can happen too. So there's just so many things that can happen in this game that just are not possible in chess. You could have a triple thorn, like if you move this guy and then a rotation. So you could have a triple thorn quite easily in this game, which clears files for the access of your tines in the back. And that might be just fine. They support each other. This guy's not protected, but these 2 are. And you could, well, he's protected by the Strange right now, and actually the Grand Barb, but you know what I mean. He's not protected by another Thorn. So, anyway, I've brought up quite a few things here. And there, a white square is on the right, and the Mighty, instead of the Queen takes her color, well, the Mighty takes her color. So that helps you to remember that. And 1, 3, 3, 1 for the color band operation. And remember that they can go forward and diagonal, and for 1 point rotate the other way. Once you get one set, then the rest of them fall into place because they're the mirror image. And that's about how I remember things. So if you play this wonderful game, you know, you'll have a great time with your friends and stuff. It's really a nice grand battle. Again, I'll show my book here. If you could go onto the internet, you know, if you go into my e-store here, I guess I need to set this so it's not going to fall. Alright, so here's my e-store at https://www.createspace.com/3552422. That'll take you into my e-store that Amazon provides for all of its authors. And you can put in one of these 2 discount codes if you want a price break. And you can only get this book through Amazon, but you can only get these discounts through my e-store. Of course, I'm Tony Berard, signing off. Please enjoy my game. Have a great day.